Bill Lawrenson drives the number 99 machine. Number 23, Greg Shivers, Rocky Point. In car 74, Lou Pryor. The 00, Tony Membrino, Waterbury. And it's our first alternate car, number 9. And here we go, we're underway. Green flag is out. Running hard on the outside, challenging for first place. 75 Manafort drops down on the inside, and Tony Sylvester running third now moves up with one of the Purple People Eaters also on the outside. Heading for the line. It's a close run at the line. Marty Membrino hangs right in there. Fourth place contact as Rich Vassar goes around. Everybody scatters and appears to be okay. Vassar, and also it looks like Tony Membrino, who was another one of the Purple People Eaters, also went around in that. It looked like Membrino's about to clear the track. The yellow flag comes out. And we're going to slow them all down and do it again. Vassar just plain lost stock. Drives the pace car to the infield. Manafort trying to get a jump on the field and does. Oh, Anderson looks like he jumped out of gear. Sylvester right behind him, pushing him along. Big jump on that one. And Anderson, who did well at the first start, is moving backwards faster than he moved forward. And we got two cars hooked up. Tom Rosati's got a flat tire. He's moving to the infield. Tim Lanigan goes spinning in turn one. He got over the marbles. And there's water, we understand, up in turn 2. Car number 1, Lanigan spinning out in turn 1. And Rosati, spark showing from underneath as he's going to miss out on this one, and that would just about ruin his chances for 1993. No sign of him as yet. As they head for turn 4, here we go, and there's the green flag. And we're racing once again. Anderson, number 14, this time he doesn't fit green. Marty Membrino down on the inside, trying to make Anderson a sandwich. Now Anderson eases up away and maintains the lead. Manafort on the outside. Membrino now down on the inside. All three cars will go in just about side by side as they enter turn number 1. Membrino looking for the lower edge. Anderson drifts a little bit wide. Membrino steps on the gas. They come together on the first straightaway. Membrino, but still Anderson out the lead. As he might have slipped a little bit, but he maintained enough traction. Manafort now drops back to third spot. Here comes Tony Sylvester, number 39. Tiger Racing is running in fourth place, and he's closed up the gap. Meanwhile, Membrino now looks again to the inside. Anderson. And look at the move by Denny Doyle. He darts quickly to the outside groove, overtakes Manafort, and he brings the 39 of Sylvester along with him. As Manafort now has a problem, you see sparks flying from beneath that car as he'll pull in. And after his next time around, apparently, Membrino takes on the lead. No way. Membrino looking for that first one of the year. Anderson has one. And it's a good battle down the backstretch. Manafort now pulling to the infield. Now, Tony Sylvester slowing down. There's got to be something on the racetrack, because it looks like he also has picked up something in one of his tires, but it's not doing anything to Membrino, Anderson, and Doyle. They're rock and roll down the front straightaway. Mike Kovacs, number 30, now moving up to play with the big guys. Willie Hardy Jr. running in fourth spot. Tom Fern, who is also one here, running in fifth spot. Fern brought two cars with him, his short track car and a half-mile car. He decided the car he normally runs here was the hot setup. Well, as we just mentioned, Fern is our point leader, and the car right in front of him, driven by Willie Hardy, is the number 2-point man. So they certainly are keeping an eye on one another. Here they come now into turn 4, Membrino. Still the man on top as we complete now lap number 7. Down on the inside, number 31, Doyle, looking to move up the second spot. Kovacs trying to come with him. Anderson's stuck up on the outside, but he's been able to run up there all night. Doyle got the low groove. He's got half a car. Denny Doyle, number 31, looking to move up. Membrino slows down a bit. Anderson speeds up a bit, and they remain in the same positions. Coming out, Doyle gets the push off the lower corner and takes second spot. Leads for the time being. Kovacs following right along with him. Willie Hardy Jr. drops down. Take a look underneath Kovacs. Oh, they got cars coming together big time. And Brad Boisenold, number 36, started leaning on everybody, and he leaned a little bit too hard and spun around.
The fire you see, I think it's from trying to refire the engine. It's not, it doesn't.
John Zarutny returns to the field in the 2X, picks up at the rear.
Pace car drops down to the infield. Cars start to accelerate. The green flag is out. We're racing again, and here comes Membrino. Again, Anderson falls asleep at the switch and winds up in the tunnel. Ron Anderson having a really tough time on the restarts. Gets bumped. Well, he gets it back into gear, but boy, he's got to be disgusted with himself. Denny Doyle, number 31, now right on the rear bumper of Marty Membrino in the number 0 car. One of 3 purple people eaters that are out here tonight.
Seeking to be one of those rare drivers who can make it 2 in a row. Let's see if he can accomplish that feat tonight. Off the turn, Kovacs running a good race also. Bill Lawrenson with a problem, drops off the pace in the 99, forcing Dave Etheridge to back off the throttle. Now they head into turn 3, and Lawrenson seems to be running okay again. Off the turn, a little bobble by Kovacs in the 30, but he holds his position ahead of Tom Byrne. Byrne now running ahead of the number 2-point man, Willie Hardy. Hardy being challenged by Mark Farino now in the 52.
Mark Farino drops down to the inside and gets by Willie Hardy, at least for the time being, as we have a challenge for the lead. Doyle on the outside, trying to go around Membrino, but Membrino with the short way around maintains his position. Kovacs closes up the gap. Whoa, we got cars coming together in the front straightaway. 1, 2, 3 cars come together. Everybody's still moving. Sheet metal's still on, but boy, with all the dust flying, I can't tell you from here who's on top of whom.
It looks like Mark Farino and Rich Vassar appear to be the only casualties. Well, you can see Farino parked right at the entrance to turn 1, and Vassar has stalled. Now he picks up again. The car 10, the Porter and Chester Institute machine, now picks up. And now Farino does likewise, so he pulls away.
Now Denny Doyle, Kovacs on the outside, Fern right behind him, and Willie Hardy on the outside. All these drivers have been to victory lane here.
We've lost 8 cars in the first 11 laps, so the attrition is tough. There's the green flag. Membrino is wide awake, and he gets the hop on Kovacs.
Everybody nice and easy into turn number 1. A lot of the fast guys that we thought would be up front are in the pits right now. Membrino is always a challenger here. In the lead. Byrne now looking to challenge for second spot. Kovacs might have some handling problems. He took a good whack in the front of his car.
But at the moment is running well as he heads into turn 2, putting himself right on Membrino's back bumper. Meanwhile, Tom Fern has continued to apply the pressure to Kovacs. Fern looking for an opening, trying to move up, and Willie Hardy right behind him, keeping an eye on that battle.
Vassar, who has spun twice, still going back up to 8. Number 99 in front of him. But he's got a long way to go if he's going to catch those leaders again. You know, he started out way up front on the pole. Boisenau, who also was involved in the incident, has moved up very smartly and is riding right behind Vassar. Meanwhile, your leaders really tight together. Nobody running away from this. Membrino, Kovacs, Byrne, Hardy, Alvin Johnson, bumper to bumper. Marty Membrino in the 0 car. Seems to be easing out just a little bit. Here comes Fern for second spot. Tom Fern from Agawam drops down the inside. Can't maintain a position. Kovacs just slams the door on him. On the part of the number 30 car. Fern again looking for that low line, but Kovacs is not going to give it up. Willie Hardy Jr. just kind of sits back waiting for something to happen. He knows these two guys are going to start pushing each other as we get down near the few clicks from 25, which is the number of laps we're going to run.
Off the turn and heading to the line, still Membrino has turned. Now the turn is to the low road. Trying to have a challenge on Kovacs. No such luck that time into turn 1. Meanwhile, Hardy maintains his spot right behind Fern and keeping an eye on our point leader. Field's starting to stretch out a little bit now.
Lou Pryor, who started way back in the field, number 74, has been nice and smooth, working his way up, staying out of trouble.
Dave Etheridge had problems earlier in the event. That good-looking rookie in car 54 has worked his way back very nicely into 7th place.
Coming up on lap number 18, we're clicking them away. Membrino in the lead, turns to the inside. bide his time to get right down near the end. Gives Kovacs a little tap to let him know he's still there. Everybody just seems to be locked in their position right now. No one's moving. Anderson, who led a number of laps, is trying to move up, but he's not having a good night. He must have lost some suspension or handling. One of those incidents earlier because he has not been able to move up with the leaders.
Now here comes Fern down the backstretch. It's a battle for the number 2 spot. Tom Fern challenging Mike Kovacs. Into turn 3 they go side by side. Who will it be? Coming out of 4. Hang on, folks. Here they come. It's Fern. 5 laps remain in this one.
It's still up there, up in the air. Kovacs not giving up 1 inch. Fern now with almost a full car. Kovacs tucks down behind Tom Fern. Number 92 car now sets his sights on Membrino, the 0 car. Membrino is going to try and square up the corners. No, he stays high, Riz, right up against his door. Now he eases back just a little bit.
Meanwhile, Willie Hardy looks for racing room around Kovacs. He's got his eyes on Tom Fern, the number 1 and 2 point man, still duking it out here, running 2nd and 4th. And at the line, it's still Membrino. Jonas holds on to the number 5 spot. He's being challenged now by Lou Pryor in the 74 car. So you got 3 separate battles going on right here. Here he goes, Fern on the outside, challenging Membrino for the lead. Off the 4th turn they come, and the double sticks around. 2 to go. Let's see if Membrino and Fern go at it again. Here they go. Fern to the outside. Membrino on the inside, Fern on the outside. Who will it be into turn 3? Fern now moves up alongside. Here they come, heading into turn 4. It's still Membrino off the turn. But Fern at the line, blasts his way across and takes the lead by half a car length over Membrino. Turn 1, it's an accident between Fern and Membrino.
Oh, they just leaned on each other so hard, they lost traction, both of them. What a way to end this race. Yellow flag is out, so we will go back to the completion of the last lap. Membrino still sitting there. Tough break for 2 guys that have been just flying around this race course.
Boy, oh boy. It looked like Membrino just got a little too aggressive into turn 1, could not control it, and slid up into the left rear of the Fern machine. He got Fern, but apparently Fern's okay as he picks up at the back of the pack right now. Certainly a tough break for our point leader. That puts Willie Hardy now in very good shape, our number 2 point man. Looking now to do some damage. He can pick up some points on Fern if he can maintain his position. Fern, however, probably will maintain that he was spun out and that he still belongs up front. And we'll leave that up to our NASCAR officials to determine. He walks back to the pit area now.
Oh, tough break. Marty, a real tough competitor, was just driving a great race, and it appeared he just, like you said, Rolly, got into the corner just too hard. He was trying to get that lead back from Tom Fern, and I didn't see him hit the wall, though, so I'm kind of surprised they're working as hard underneath the hood as they are. Green flag, the white flag, and then 1 lap later we'll find out who the winner is. Kovacs gets an unbelievable jump. I don't think so. It's a lazy green. Kovacs said it. They are not going to beat him to the line. He was right, but unfortunately they have to line up and do it again. He started down halfway down the back straightaway, standing on it.
And that is a no-no. Let's see if they do it right this time now, or Kovacs could find himself in trouble. Here we go.
Okay, now they're all tightened up. They come to the stripe between 3 and 4. The green flag is out. Kovacs again on the gas, but Willie Hardy Jr. right there next to him. It looks like those new tires are ready.
Into turn 1 they go. Kovacs with the slight edge. And keep an eye on Jim Mavlajanis. He's looking for an opening in the 01 car. Here they come out of turn number 2. Mavlajanis starting to slide up on Willie Hardy. As they come to the line, they'll receive the white flag. It's a spin. Mavlajanis goes around, contact all over the place. And Willie Hardy also involved, and man alive, how things do change in a hurry.
Boy, and these guys have got to do this again tonight. They're going to be worn out just putting panels back on.
Well, here Tom Fern, the number 1 point man, sees Willie Hardy all of a sudden way in front of him as Fern got involved in a previous encounter. Now,
back for their heats and the features later on. They've only got about an hour between now and less than an hour to get these cars back into shape.
Well, that's it. The fellas know that after the later feature tonight and then next week, that point race is all over. So somehow they're going to, I'll bet you, make every attempt to get back out here. Well, there we have it. Mike Kovacs is the leader in car 30. Lou Pryor running second in the 74. From there, we're waiting the word from the scorers as to the rest of the restart lineup. And you can see the Hardy car on the hook. Tough break.
Now, it's hard to tell from here if there's any suspension or chassis damage, but that car took a whack in a spot where you don't really want to get hit, because you can't go back in and rework that chassis in 45 minutes to an hour. So Willie Hardy Jr., who was running really well and was challenging for the lead, now being hauled back into the pits.
All right, Joe Abadi, the auto doc, is down in the infield, and hopefully he'll have a report for us fairly soon.
Both looking for wins here at Stafford. And Pryor, I wouldn't call that a jump. I would call that getting off an exit before the rest of the crowd. And it's on. Pryor goes high. Kovacs goes down low. So Pryor went from second spot to fifth spot in a heartbeat.
And now he's hung out to dry. Tom Fern will also overtake him, and all of a sudden Pryor's now running in 6th place. But Bill Lawrenson running 3rd as Denny Doyle made a great move to take over the 2nd spot. White flag is up. 1 lap to go on this one. Heading out of turn number 2, it's still Kovacs, Doyle, and Fern. Doyle with the best shot at our leader. Here he comes, looking to the inside of Kovacs, heading for the line off turn 4. Kovacs a little sideways, but maintains his position and takes the checker. Mike Kovacs taking down the win. It took a while, but certainly Kovacs will savor it just as much as if everybody was still out there, I'm sure. A good win. Congratulations from Fern and from Doyle to Mike Kovacs on his victory as they both pull alongside and give him the salute, congratulating him on the victory. Well done by Mike Kovacs. He certainly ran well the entire event, stayed out of trouble, and chalks up the victory, his first of the year. Awful hard all year. Well, after all this, let's hope everything is all right, Tony.
Well, he's throwing all those lead balls out of his pocket that he had on the way over there.
Now, next on the grid will be the late models. We'll run down the lineup after we conclude the victory lane ceremonies. Our time.
Over here, Mike! Over here! Come on, guys, give him some room. He wants to have his picture taken. Now, it's one thing that's really neat about this sport and this racetrack is a lot of these guys really support each other when they need some parts or some help or whatever. And it's obvious that all of these guys that are here are really thrilled that Mike was able to bring it home in first place. Ladies and gentlemen, the Pro Stock winner, Mike Kovacs! He's not even going to make it here. Ladies and gentlemen, Pro Stock winner, number 30, Mike Kovacs! First off,
down. I got caught myself.
Congratulations, and I love the way you pulled up to ask directions after you won.
Yeah, I've never done this before. This is my first year here at Stafford, the first year racing oval tracks, and I just didn't know which way to go, so I figured I'd better stop and ask directions.
Well, obviously you won't have to ask anymore.
Well, I hope I get the chance to not ask anymore. This was a great feeling. I thought that race was never going to end.
It was tough out there. You took about 4 or 5 bangs on your car. Well, how was it from your perspective?
Well, it was a little tough. It was too bad what happened to Dennis. I thought the caution came out, and he got on the brakes a little bit before I did. You know, it wasn't an intentional thing. I'm sorry I turned him around, but we were out there running as hard as we could, and the chassis dynamics car was hooked up, and we were going.
Now, the question everyone here wants to know is, what do you do now? You got to go back to the pits and make everything right.
Yeah, I don't know how bad it is. It handled okay. The car was still working real good after. The last couple laps, it started to push up a little bit, and I thought I was going to get taken coming off floor a couple times. But this feels really, really good. I want to thank my sponsors, Red Meyer Enterprises, Maz Mini Storage, and everybody else that helped me out, and my crew. Couldn't do it without you. Thank you.
Okay, we'll let you get back to the pits, so we know you got some work to do. Ladies and gentlemen, Pro Stock winner, Mike Kovacs!
All right, happy crowd. Look out, don't knock the stand over with your exuberance, men.